Welcome back to the NFL Draft Bible Player Spotlight Show. I am your host, Chris Shanafelt, bringing you the names that you need to know first since 2002. Visit NFLDraftBible.com, and we are now joined by 2018 NFL Draft prospect, linebacker out of Missouri Western State University. We've had quite a few guys over the years from this school, from this program. The Griffins, they're the home of, on the program, and today it's a pleasure to welcome on linebacker Darrian Bass to the program. And Darian, we really appreciate you taking some time to chat. We are exactly 3 weeks away from the start of the 2018 NFL Draft. How's everything going, man?
Everything is great. I appreciate you guys having me. Just in the process of training right now, training with my brother, more so getting on the field work and lifting with him. But now that the pro day is out the way, then I can focus on my field work and hands and steps and things of that nature. So it's definitely been a fun journey, a fun process.
March 23rd, you had your pro day in which you came in at 6'2", 233 pounds. You ran a 4.6 40-yard dash to go with a 34-inch vertical and 19 reps of 225 pounds on the bench press. How do you feel about those numbers that you put up a couple of weeks ago in front of NFL scouts? And, was it worth it? All the hard work and, everything you did training for this day. I mean, I got to think it was pretty nerve-wracking to say the least. I mean, everything's, or a lot is put into one day, one workout. Did you walk away happy with the results that you put up?
For sure. I definitely think that everything that I put towards this time was worth it. Throughout the training, I've been so many places, starting in Addison, Texas, working at 4th and Inches, and then going back to St. Louis for a couple weeks. Ended up at EFT, and throughout it all, I learned from each location. And with the numbers that I performed, I feel like that was exactly where I needed to be. I feel like they were above average numbers, and it's definitely something teams can work with.
Absolutely, and you mentioned it. You were working out at one point in Texas, back at home in St. Louis, and even in Chicago. A lot of different things. I mean, before you started training at these different facilities to the day of your pro day, how much do you feel you really improved as an athlete? I mean, a lot of this, I know a lot of people love to look at pro day numbers, and even sometimes I even fall in love with them myself. But at the end of the day, what matters most is if you can play on the football field.
Right.
I mean, how much do you personally put into these numbers in compared to, how it defines you as a football player?
I think the numbers are just a piece of the pie. Throughout it all, my brother told me, be ready for the field work. They're going to try to gas you out, get you tired, and see how you move. And if I look comfortable doing the movements that they put me through, then that'll be the best bet. And I feel like that's what I perform best on, my field work. And like I said, being in different locations, working with different guys, being able to handle the adversity, traveling on a short window, I feel like that helped me grow as a player and a person as well. So I definitely enjoyed it, and I feel like I learned a lot for sure. Working with Kerry Neal at EFT, him being able to put me through different drills. Working with Nate Palmer from the Tennessee Titans, he actually helped my brother out. I was working with them as well, so I definitely got a lot of good experience and working with some great guys along the way.
Have you had any contact with any teams since your pro day, Darian? How do you feel they're looking at you or looking to use you at the next level? I mean, what kind of feedback have you gotten over the past 2 or so weeks since your pro day?
I would say I spoke with a few teams after my pro day, but ever since then I haven't really heard much from anybody. I've been in touch with my agent, and he said he's going to continue to toss my name around. So hopefully that'll help, and I'll just be waiting for the draft for sure.
Absolutely. And we mentioned some of the numbers you put up at your pro day. You said your brother told you to, be prepared for the field workouts. How do you feel those went? How do you feel you looked in the actual, field workouts, I guess you could say? I mean, again, overall, you said, you were pretty happy walking away from your pro day. How happy were you on in terms of the football workouts that you did in front of NFL scouts?
I was extremely satisfied. everything that I did, I was ready for. I prepared day in and day out, and being in shape was the biggest part. And I felt like I handled that well. With all the movements, I was familiar with the drills that they put me through, and it was just a matter of time before I got the opportunity to perform. And once I got that opportunity, I just took off and ran with it.
No doubt about it.
I feel like, yeah, I'm just ready. It's a matter of time now.
Well, Darrian, we're going to let the cat out of the bag now. I mean, for those who don't know yet, your older brother is David Bass. We mentioned him a couple times already here in this interview. NFL defensive end, outside linebacker. He was drafted in the 7th round of the 2013 NFL Draft. Spent a couple years here in Chicago. I actually had him on the show a couple times, and really, it'll be harder to find somebody easier to root for. Last year, he was with the Jets. How much of a help has he been to you overall, not only throughout this NFL draft process, but, you know, throughout your years, even going back to your high school days and then even at Missouri Western as well?
He helped me out so much, whether that was paying for training to start and then giving me advice over the phone after games. He'll FaceTime me. He'll actually log into my Huddle account and watch the film, review the film, and help me out after each game. And that's practices as well. So if it was anything as small as eliminating a false step or getting to sleep on time, making sure I get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And it's just been a huge advantage for me, I feel, against my opponents. And I'm able to spread the information to my teammates, the guys around me. So it's been a tremendous help for a guy like me.
Again, we're chatting with Darrian Bass, the linebacker out of Missouri Western State University, as he gears up for the 2018 NFL Draft, which is exactly 3 weeks away to the day. And Darrian, you finished your senior year there with the Griffins with a career-high 56 tackles, 16.5 tackles for loss, 7.5 sacks, and an interception. If you could go back and recommend one game from this past season for an NFL scout to go back and check out, which game would that be and why?
I would say the Lindenwood game. We played them at home, and I dominated all 4 quarters. Didn't take off the pedal at all, and it wasn't a deal where I played better for this game because of any situation or reason. But I just felt like that was the game that I put it all together and got a great outcome at the end of the day. So if I would recommend any game to watch, it would be Lindenwood University.
And, of course, Lindenwood being a conference opponent. Talk about the overall talent you guys had to go up against week in and week out in the MIAA. It's one of, if not the toughest conference in all of Division II football, Darrian. I mean, is that something that you relish, being able to go up against some top-notch talent week in and week out?
For sure, and I hear it from other guys. Like I said, I was training around the area in Addison, Texas, and I was training with guys from Fair State, from Emporia, from UCM. And with that being said, everybody knew that the MIAA was the best conference in Division II and the most competitive. So I feel like that helped a lot because scouts and coaches want to see what type of talent are you going up against, what type of competition are you competing with. And I feel like that was a huge advantage for everybody in the conference. And being able to dominate and be all-conference guy, I feel like that would put me ahead of many players.
And you know, again, you mentioned it. I mean, even other guys that are playing in Division II football are, you know, they know about the MIAA and the talent that's come out of there. And, you know, again, I mean, guys like your older brother, David Bass, or, you know, Michael Jordan, or Michael Jordan also had a brother that spent a couple years in the NFL. Those are all Missouri Western guys. You can go to Pierre Desir from Lindenwood. I mean, really, the list goes on and on. Let's not forget John Brown from Pittsburgh State. Who would you say over the years is the best player that you've lined up against over the years playing in the MIAA, though, Darrian?
I'd say UCM quarterback Fugate. He came out recently, and Cody Hyman, he went to Washburn and played linebacker. I always compare myself with him, check to see how he was doing day in, day out, to see if I could surpass him in all his stats. And there was a couple guys that I went up against that I tip my hat to them because, like I said, the MIAA has a lot to offer, and it's a bunch of competition in the MIAA.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We've seen Division II champions come out of the MIAA pretty often, to say the least, especially
Mm-hmm.
recently. Darrian, when did it
Right.
hit you? I'm sure it's always been the dream to play professional football, and then seeing your brother kind of take the same, or actually take the exact same route that you have up to this point. I'm sure it even gave you even more confidence. When did it hit you that you're going to give this pro football thing a shot, though? I mean, when did it hit you that, you know what, I got what it takes, and I'm actually going to give this thing, 100% of my effort?
This is something that I dreamed about every day since I started playing football at the age of 5. And seeing my brother make it, everybody was on me like, yeah, your brother made it, man, y'all good, your family good. And I was like, we're never satisfied, so I was just like, when is my turn? When is my turn going to come? And going through the red shirting process, being patient, and that's what I always talk to him about, which he gave me advice to be patient, and good things come to those who wait. So now that my time is here, I'm just ready. Like throughout the pro day, I was competing with him. Like he was at the pro day, and I let him know that I jumped higher than him in a vertical, and then he'll mention that he weighed more than me. I told him I ran faster than him. He said it was a laser time at the combine where he went. So we're always competing, and just to get the opportunity, if I ever get in the camp or any type of invite, then I'm going to keep on working for sure.
Hey, we see it every year. You know, all you need is a tryout. You need one opportunity, and the rest could be history after that. I mean, look at a guy that just cashed in big in the NFL offseason, Malcolm Butler. Literally one tryout, and it was with the New England Patriots. His rookie year, he makes the game-saving play to win the Super Bowl, and now he cashes out on a huge contract. I think something, 5 years, over 50, maybe even $60 million. Yeah, I mean, like you said, you just need that opportunity, and then, again, the rest could be history. Again, we're chatting with Missouri Western State linebacker Darian Bass, 2018 NFL Draft prospect, here on the NFL Draft Bible Players Spotlight Show. I am your host, Chris Shanafelt, and just a few more questions for you, Darian, and then we'll let you go. Really do appreciate your time, and this isn't something that I've done for a few years now, maybe a couple of years, but I'm going to get back to it, starting with you, Darian, and I want to ask you a few non-football related questions just to get to know you a bit. And we'll start off with outside of football, what are a couple of your favorite hobbies? I mean, during the off season, if you have some downtime, what are you up to?
Yeah. I was a campus barber throughout the past couple of years, and I actually started cutting hair when I was in 8th grade. I was cutting my own. And I don't know if you remember Sam Brown, but he came from Missouri Western, a corner on the other side of Mike Jordan. He actually taught me a couple things in the barber business. So took off with that, and now I enjoy cutting hair. Just turn my toes on and then get the cutting. And it saves me a couple dollars, not to mention that. But outside of that, I'm definitely interested in learning more about animals, small animals, I would say. I want to help prevent animal cruelty.
Awesome.
And so that's my biggest goal, regardless if I'm playing football or not.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. And that's why I'm going to bring these questions back to get to know the guys underneath the helmet, underneath the pads. I mean, I certainly wouldn't have known that if I didn't ask you, Darian. Now, of course, we hear about it all the time. I mean, there are players that do cut hair in the NFL, and I'm sure your teammates are going to be hitting you up for that.
Right.
Now, your brother has some pretty long hair, and I know he no longer has that. Are you responsible for that?
No, I'm not. He actually said that he was going to cut his hair for years before he did, and prior to it, he was like, "I'm gonna just wait till my facial hair grows," and then his facial hair grows, and he was like, "I ain't ready to cut it." So then, a couple months before his wedding date, that's what made for this decision. He went ahead and chopped it off when he was in Tennessee. So.
Okay.
That was cool. So now I get the opportunity to cut his hair, and he always say that he gonna fly me out wherever he's at. He can save a few bucks, but I don't know. It was pretty cool.
Hey, there you go. So we're already kind of getting familiar with some things that you might want to do outside of football. But I'll ask you anyway. If you weren't pursuing a professional football career, what exactly would you pursue?
Well, like I said, I wanted to help prevent animal cruelty, and with that being the case, I did a few interns around the city of St. Joe, and Progressive is the number one animal insurance company, and with that being the case, is most people think you don't insure cats or dogs or those common pets, but more so, people buy insurance for cattle such as cows or horses and things of that nature. So that's what I would be interested in, being an insurance agent for Progressive.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, final questions before we let you go. It's a question I end all my interviews with, and that is, let's say all 32 NFL general managers, they're tuned into this very interview. Why should they want the linebacker out of Missouri Western State University, Darian Bass, a part of their team?
I would say that I'm definitely experienced with many situations in a football game. I'm a hard worker for sure. I'll play all 4 quarters, and with experience alone and a good work ethic, I feel like I could help out a lot, whether that be on kickoff team or if I'm on 4th and inches in a Super Bowl. I'm ready to play, and I'm always going to give it my all.
Hey, sounds great, Darrian. It was a pleasure chatting with you. Really do appreciate you taking some time this afternoon, and we're really wishing you all the best. Can't wait to see where you land, man.
All right, appreciate that. Thanks for having me.